Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys. Today, I was reading through the comments and I wanted to talk a little bit about a specific comment. I thought it would lead off into a great video. The comment basically was, people are not going to want gold or silver in some sort of a collapse. They're going to want beans, rice, ammo, tangible items. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this. Thank you so much for whoever just subscribed. Had someone just subscribe a minute ago. I do really appreciate that. Kroger Dog, thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Actually, just subscribed while I'm filming this video. So jumping back, sorry about that. I just, if someone subscribes while I'm doing the video, I always like to give them a shout out. And a special thank you to everybody watching the video. I was debating if I was going to start over, but no. A special thank you for those of you guys that are watching the video. Please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps out the channel. And so what I want to talk about is why essentially, yeah, that stuff will come in handy. I'm not going to lie to you. Gold, silver will also come in handy. It has been money since the beginning of time. It always will be. The comment followed up with, gold and silver is not going to help you in the apocalypse. Well, or actually he didn't use apocalypse. He used Armageddon, which is a little more interesting that would be used, because the truth of the matter is, if you believe in Armageddon and you believe that Armageddon's coming, then yeah, gold and silver ain't going to help you in Armageddon. In fact, when Armageddon comes, that's going to be the end of everything. So I won't even really need food, water, or any of that when that day comes, because it's basically the last day. But I'm talking more about as things start breaking down, as things continue to get worse. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of examples and prove to you guys kind of that, yeah, gold and silver does have value. It has had value, and it will have value in a collapse, because people will know that eventually things will get back up and running. And when it does, they're going to want essentially something that has sound value. And yes, those other items are going to be important too. Definitely making it through a crisis. You're going to need food, water, that type of stuff. Maybe you want some pleasures, some, I don't know, cigarettes, alcohol, candy, who knows. All of that is definitely going to be barter items. But to think that gold and silver won't be, I think, is a little out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that thumbs up button, help me out. And with that being said, before we get started talking about that, I want to do a quick little recap on the prices of what's going on right now with prices. We got silver trading at $37.11. And those of you guys that have been watching my videos over the last week and a half, yeah, I'm still confident about what I've been talking about. And I think the little jump that we've seen today, that 85-90 cents, that can, who knows, we'll see how that plays out. Taking a quick look at gold, we got gold trading at $3,383, as it's, kind of holding a little bit, but it has came down quite a bit also. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin, kind of dropping a little bit, down to 105,117. Taking a quick look at the DXY right now. DXY is up as we are getting ready to go into the Fed meeting. It looks like it's down a little bit, but remember that yesterday when I shot this video, it was at 98.12, and we're at 98.60. So we're up essentially a half a point. And a lot of people think that this is going to essentially continue to come down, but I think generally during the Fed meetings, they usually try to prop it up, make it look a little bit better. I wouldn't be surprised today if we kind of go up another 1 point, maybe even 1.4 points before that day comes to an end, before they give that Fed announcement that is coming. Taking a quick look at the debt clock real quick, we got 36,992,700,000,000. Important thing to take from this, we're just less than 2 days away from hitting the 37 trillion mark, which is probably going to be in the news. It's going to make headlines, and we'll see how it plays out. Jumping in right off, though, I want to talk about, so I pulled up a couple interesting questions that I think people need to understand. The first one that I actually want to go over is, in the past, when countries collapse, have people use gold and silver for money? Because this is the first thing we got to knock out the, essentially the point that, yeah, people will want it. You can go all the way back to when Rome collapsed. People wanted gold. People were taking the gold coins that were still pure gold, and they were exchanging the garbage coins that had been watered down. Kind of like today, we have clad coins that gets used. You don't see silver coins that often because all the silver coins went into hiding. That's that Gresham's law, where good money will drive out bad money. I'm sorry, bad money will drive out good money, and essentially all the good money is gone. It's been, it's tucked away. People hoard it. People hold it. They recognize that gold and silver is money. But you don't have to go all the way back to the Roman Empire. You can go back to the war, Weimar Germany. Now, once you look at that, Germany experienced hyperinflation. People wanted gold. They wanted silver. If you wanted to escape the country, you could pony up some gold coins. Somebody would take it, put it in their pocket, and look the other way while you go. That happened a lot of the time. Zimbabwe, recent history, we've seen Zimbabwe experience a severe hyperinflation, and people resorted to using foreign currencies, but they also used precious metals. Not everybody has access to foreign currencies, but generally people have always used gold and silver as money or as jewelry or as value. And it's not just Zimbabwe. Even more recent, we had Argentina, Venezuela, Turkey, and there's actually a lot more currencies out there that have experienced major issues. But they recognized gold as a store of wealth. They recognized gold as a means to an end. If you want to get out of a country and you got some gold, people are more apt to want to take your gold than they are to take your Venezuelan bolivars or your Turkey liras. Or your Argentinian pesos. Once you understand these, you understand that gold and silver has always had value, and it always will be valuable. People recognize it. It's easy to recognize. When people see gold and silver, I know a lot of people say they're not going to know what your Mickey Mouse silver coin is. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't take everybody to understand what silver and gold is. It just takes a handful of people. And once a handful of people understand what's going on, people will turn to those people to get help to find someone. I've had numerous people contact me to help them find buyers for gold, silver. I actually have one friend right now. He has a whole Ziploc bag of old, broken, just little trinket gold jewelry. And he asked me, he said, I want to sell it. I said, why do you want to sell it? He said, one, I think the price is high, and two, I would rather invest in gold coins or silver coins. And I told him, I said, well, to a certain point, yes, but to a certain point, you already have the gold. Why do you have to pay someone a commission to get rid of it and then another commission to get something else? He said, well, people recognize it, though. People know what gold is. They understand it. To think that they're not going to understand it at a certain point, I think needs to be something that people need to rethink out. I've actually taken silver coins and traded them for items that I needed to people that really had no clue if the silver was real. They didn't have any clue if it was real silver, if the coin was real. They didn't know anything about it. But they were willing to accept it. Why? Because they had a lot of what they were trading me. Whether that be watermelons, whether that be crawfish, whether that be shrimp off the boat, oysters off the boat, it doesn't matter. They had lots of it. And to them, silver was just another thing. And I'll give you another example. Even for me, with the recent, some of y'all seen the recent spiders, silver 1 ounce spiders, the funnel web spider from Australia, where I've gotten a lot of them in. I've been willing to accept them for other silver coins. Why? Because I've got so many of one thing. I just want something different. I prefer silver, obviously, but if I can use them to trade for something else that I want, it makes sense for me to do that. Real quick, let's see here. What was the question that I asked here? Well, no, actually, I want to jump over to this one right here. So, what I want people also to understand is, and I've said this time and time again, precious metals, if you don't have food and water, a plan for food and water in your house, or a plan for food and water in a place that you can kind of bug out to if things start breaking down, well then, yeah, precious metals should not be number one on your list. Number 1 and 2 on your list should be food and water. And then some sort of means of protection. You need to have a way to protect yourself if things start getting ugly. And then precious metals. But the truth of the matter is, non-perishable food items like canned goods, dry beans, rice, pasta, survival meals like MREs, those are all items that, yeah, people will trade you for them. You'll be able to trade something you want for that. That's really important, actually. Water purification, having filters or having containers of safe water. People are going to want that stuff. And here's the thing. If I've got tons and tons of well water from a deep water well, what am I going to do with it all? I've got to take something from you. Are you really going to want to part with your food and water? That's not an item that people will want to part with. But I recognize that gold and silver eventually will come back as money. So I might part with some water today. I can't drink it all. I can't drink the whole deep water well. So I might part with some of that water today to get something that I can use later. And yeah, I understand ammunition or medical supplies. Yeah, that's a big thing. First aid kits, they actually got that number 3 on the list. Bandages, antiseptants. I don't think I said that right. Pain relievers, antibiotics. These are all things that people will need and they will want. And in some cases, if someone's hurt, they might even want that more than food and water at the moment. So you might be able to trade, but you have to understand there's got to be a common denominator item that everybody can acquire and essentially use for trade. Hygiene, sanitation, that would be soap, toothpaste, maybe tampons, disinfectants, toilet paper. A lot of you guys remember when the whole cough happened and people were hoarding toilet paper. Why? Because they knew they would need it. They knew it wasn't going to go bad. And so essentially they bought extras of it. Now the next one's tools, hardware, knives, multi-tools, wrenches, screwdrivers, hammers, duct tape. A lot of repairs will still come up even during a major crisis. Life will go on. It's not necessarily going to be people running and invading homes and all that, because you have to understand, when you invade someone's home, you're also at risk. And I always hear people say, oh, well, they're just going to come and they're going to shoot you and take it. Keep in mind that there's going to be people that will be defending, and they're going to defend themselves. And you think they're not going to have pew-pews and be shooting back? Of course they are. But a lot of people think automatically that, oh, there's going to be no resistance. And, you break into someone's house and take their stuff, it's just going to be no resistance. You're just going to walk in and walk out with it. No. There's going to be people out there that are going to have whole standard operating procedures for this stuff, because maybe they live on edge a little bit and they worry about all the different scenarios that could play out. And so they've already made plans on, hey, if this happens and you want help, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be, walking to the stream or the pond, and you're going to be carrying water back. Someone else is going to be filtering it, steaming it, heating it up, boiling it. Someone else is going to be preparing rice, beans, whatever, food items. You know, you need people. You can't do everything. And I hear people say all the time, you should have the skills to do everything. And yeah, the skills are great because skills are really important. A lot of people don't even think about the skill sets. I mean, how many people really would know how to create water out of nothing? You know, once you understand these things, you have a special skill set. You know, you have a plan and you can implement it. Also, one of the things on the list is energy sources, whether it be matches, lighters, fire starters, different fuel sources like wood. And yeah, I understand you can go out and you can collect wood. It's not going to be dry. It's not going to be ready to use right then and there. It's probably going to produce a lot of smoke that might draw unwanted attention. But, you know, having some extra firewood chopped up on the property definitely gives you an edge. And it's probably not going to be an item that people are going to come right off and try to steal that from you. Unless, you know, you're in the middle of winter or something. Backup energy. So when you get into backup energy, you know, you're talking solar chargers, flashlights, batteries, portable generators. These items to me get a little costly, and it's not a guarantee that you will need them. It's not a guarantee you'll be able to use them. You know, some of these items that I've told you already, they have value even if nothing happens, like food. Buying extra food when something goes on sale. Right now at the local grocery store, you buy a can of Spam, get a free loaf of bread. Well, here's the thing. If you need the bread, you could essentially just buy the Spam to get the free loaf of bread and just put the Spam up. Maybe you're like me and you don't really like Spam, but you know what? If it's going to cost you, I don't know, 50 cents more to get the can of Spam with it, in some cases, it's worth it. Why? Because a can of Spam is going to keep for a long time. You can put it up and you'll have it if you need it. You know, canned proteins, I was actually reading, are really popular because people, that's an item that people really will need. They will need that to survive. Other potential items that people would like, instant coffee filters, canned meats. We just talked about that a minute ago. Sugar, salt, honey, cocoa powder, building materials. All these things are items that people want. Somebody, it also on here, it says alternative investments, such as foreign currency or cryptocurrencies. This one, excuse me, I don't entirely agree with. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, you know, but you don't know what the situation will be. Foreign currencies, I'm convinced that when the dollar collapses, it's going to take a lot of other currencies with it. And I think they know this because everybody is holding dollars. Everybody has been invested in the dollar. Our dollars, that's why we're not seeing the crazy hyperinflation right now, because a lot of these dollars go to accounts overseas. And having those dollars overseas instead of circulating here in the United States means it's almost like me printing out a bunch of checks and only a couple of them are getting cashed. Eventually, those other checks will come due. They'll work their way back to my bank account, but maybe they won't work their way back in the first month, or who knows. You know, some people hold checks for a little while until they cash it when they have time. Some people lose checks, you know. So I'm not really a huge fan, though, of the foreign currency. And you guys know I'm not a big fan of the cryptocurrency because you never know what could happen. Now, certain scenarios, like just inflation, then yeah, cryptocurrency can keep going up. It might seem like it's going up in value. It's probably not going up too much in purchasing power if something major was to happen. But at a certain point, maybe you'll have access to power. Maybe you won't. I'm honestly just not a big fan of cryptocurrencies. And I understand, you know, from talking to commenters and reading people's comments that Bitcoin, you know, though people will say don't confuse Bitcoin with average cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is the top of the spectrum. And to a point, I will agree with that. But eventually, even the top falls. And so once you understand that, you understand, you know, what is actually going on. So this was the Spam thing. Proteins becomes precious when refrigeration fails. Shelf-stable meats like tuna fish, chicken salad, chicken in a can, I guess, Spam are packed with nutrition. I'm not sure I'm even saying that right. And long-lasting energy. It's packed with nutrition. I don't know why they put an S on it. Nutritions and long-lasting energy. Because they require, no prep. Boom. You just open the can. You can eat it right out of the can. How many of you have ever... I've since started trying to eat really healthy, and I will make a salad and no salad dressing, open up a can of tuna fish, and just plop it on there. I like it when it has a little bit of oil, like the tuna fish packed in oil, but if it's tuna fish packed in water, that becomes my dressing. So same with even the waters from a lot of these canned goods. Right now it's habit, you pop open a can of corn or a can of peas, you drain it in the drain, throw it away. In a real crazy scenario, you're going to want that water. You're going to want that water. There is nutritional value in that water. There's also, a fair amount of sodium, which some people will say you want to stay away from. But in that kind of environment, I don't know. I mean, people are just going to want to survive. They're probably not going to be worried about, my diabetes or my blood pressure. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I just wanted people to understand that gold and silver plays an important role in stacking, in self-sufficientness, and in preservation for you. Not just wealth preservation, but your preservation. I wouldn't be quick to want to sell my stack. If you've got some already, hey, that's great. If you don't have any, I would definitely keep your eyes open in the upcoming weeks. Maybe we'll see a nice pullback. And if we do, that could be a buying opportunity to pick up a little bit and put it away. With that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button. Check out some of these other great videos. I do post a video every Monday through Friday. I usually try to read over the comments and pick a comment that I think would make a good YouTube video, and then I kind of go with it. So thank you all for watching, and I will definitely see you again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.